Miami!
To mission control, we have the dial.
Phinhub! Phinhub! We talking Dolphins city! Phinhub, Phinhub! Yeah! It's that Dolphins show! Phinhub!
Welcome to the Phinhub Show, the one NFL podcast you can't leave off your roster. Now here's your hosts, Joe and Kevin DeHaven.
All right, guys, welcome to episode 2 of season 1, the Phinhub Show. Today we are welcomed by a brother from another mother, our cousin, another Miami native, Anthony. So,
Anthony,
let's give a round to Anthony.
Well, thank you guys for having me on the podcast. You know, Joey, Kevin, they've been working real hard to make this happen for you guys. And listen, I'm just ready to hop on the ride. Let's have some fun.
Hell yeah,
fun,
yeah.
bro, yeah. What it's all about, right?
So we have a great episode lined up for you guys today. But before we do that, make sure to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget about the giveaway that we're going to be hosting. We should be revealing the winner on the 21st of July. All you got to do to enter is make sure you're subscribed to us on YouTube, following us on Twitter and Instagram, and every single comment on one of our videos will be one entry into the giveaway. So make sure that you send as many comments as possible because you could be the lucky winner. So
Yes, sir.
Now that we got that wrapped up, let's get into some Dolphins news. Kevin, what do you got for us?
Well, I mean, this is a bit of old news, but I guess we can talk about Calais, Campbell and that signing. And now that the numbers are out, we can finally go over what he's getting paid, maybe compared to Christian Wilkins, and see if it's that bad of a loss. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So, I mean, he's only counting as $2 million against the cap, considering that last year he signed with Atlanta Falcons for $7 million. We're already getting him on a massive discount. I know he's been in the league for 16 years. He's a bit older, but man, so before I even ask that question, I guess let's go over the numbers as far as the stats compared to Christian Wilkins last year.
Okay.
So Christian Wilkins had 9 compared to his 6.5. 23 tackles. 23 quarterback hits compared to his 17. 38 tackles compared to his 32. And then each had, one forced fumble and 23 tackles for loss compared to his 17. Right? So looking at those numbers, do you think that there's a huge drop off?
Yeah, it doesn't look like the production fell off a cliff here or anything. They're
No.
pretty close, and when you consider the cap hits, I think that's where we see the value in what Calais Campbell, well, aside from his leadership and everything else, the experience that he brings to the team, him not really affecting the cap so much, especially with the situations with Tua and now Tyreek asking for more money. I think this is a great value add for the Dolphins, and it doesn't look like we're going to lose much production. I consider this a huge win for the Dolphins overall.
Right. I mean, right now, the organization is kind of going all in or go home right now. I mean, taking advantage of the last year of Tua Tagovailoa's contract. I mean, this is probably going to be the last year that we're going to be able to add some solid talent while still having a very good quarterback for a minimal salary. So let's see if these gambles pay off for the Dolphins.
Yeah, it's true. Now that Tua's getting off that rookie deal, it's going to be important for the Dolphins to figure out how to put a great team around him.
Right.
So I think bringing in guys like this, also guys like Marcus May, Odell Beckham Jr. on these low-impacting deals is going to help out the Dolphins tremendously, building a team around someone that you're going to be paying north, and now we know the number, it's going to be north of $55 million a year. So it's going to be pretty important to bring in these value adds for the Dolphins.
Yeah, and exactly what you said with Marcus May, I think going over his contract as well, because that came out. I know it took a little bit to come out, but he's only getting paid just under $1.4 million, and this is coming off of him signing a 3-year contract with the Saints worth over $21 million. I think it was $22.5 million to be exact. So, seeing these guys sign for these low deals, including Jordan Poyer, including Odell Beckham, do you think that the Dolphins are like a destination for these veterans coming off their, maybe on the tail end of their careers, but they still got something to prove? You know what I'm saying? Do you think they're coming in because we're Super Bowl contenders? Do you think that's actually a thing?
I think that makes sense. You look at the team that's being brought in right now. There's a lot of experience. We still have some youth on our side, but there's a lot of experience that's being brought in, these value additions. I'm really excited to see how they put it all together on the field. But you have to think that the rest of the NFL, especially the players, are taking notice of what the Dolphins are building and wanting to come on here for these cheaper deals.
Well, without a doubt, I mean, kind of going back to what I just last said, I mean, about the Dolphins trying to go all in this year. I mean, I think there's two people who are mostly on the hot seat this year. It's Mike McDaniels and Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, mind you, Tua had a great season last year. He led the league in passing, but was that enough? We'll see. You know, McDaniels as well. I mean, he's done a lot of great things, made a lot of big hype, but, you know, the record we finished last year ended up being somewhat towards the middle of the pack. So I think this is the year we got to show out and make some noise. If we succeed this year, I think people are going to take us a lot more serious moving forward.
Yeah, so what do you think it's going to take for the Dolphins to – obviously, if they win the Super Bowl, you're looking at, okay, Mike McDaniel's clear to the hot seat.
Yep.
And even putting him on the hot seat, I think it's going to take a lot of people by surprise. But you're right, though.
Yeah.
Going to the playoffs isn't good enough. We're not playing these games just to get to the playoffs. Everyone's trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to win a Super Bowl.
Right.
But what would be a winning season for the Dolphins not winning the Super Bowl? How would that look? What would it take for you?
I think we definitely got to get to at least 11 to 12 wins, no doubt, and hopefully at least get to the second round of the playoffs. I think if we could at least get there, that would be a huge, huge step forward for this organization.
Right. I think I'll add to that and say I like that, love that, but I really want to take over the AFC East. I want to dominate the AFC East and finally take that crown away from the Bills. We know the Patriots had it for a million years. Now it looks like the Bills are dominating that, and we almost had it at last season and just coughed it up at the end. So hopefully the Dolphins can wrap it up this year.
And I think, you know, adding on to that, Mike McDaniel being on the hot seat, there's no one that's tougher on himself than himself, because he's even said it in recent interviews that we're not playing the game just to get to the playoffs. We want to win, you know? So I think he's going to cook up some new things. I think Tua's going to have a fire lit under his ass. I think he's going to come out swinging, and he's going to have an even better year than last year, which means he's going to be in the MVP running again, you know?
Right.
And, man, like Anthony said, the sky's the limit. Just basically this year we're bringing in all this talent, and it might be put up or shut up this year because, you know, it's kind of an all-in approach. So if we don't get that done, exactly what he said, this thing could be kind of blown up with the coach and all that.
To Anthony's point, though, an exciting team, and I think we have one of the best rosters in the NFL. I also think that Tua is one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. Tua is going to be going after possibly being the top paid quarterback in the NFL because it's his turn. I recognize that, but he also deserves it. Also, though, Tua being on the hot seat is a real thing. He's going to have to win these big games, and it's going to be more. It's going to take more than just leading the league in yards and having one of the best QBRs in the league. What else do you think he needs to do to prove that he's one of these top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL?
Well, what's a common thing nowadays? I mean, quarterbacks are getting more and more mobile every year. I mean, look at guys like, you know, I don't want to say Mahomes is the first guy you think of mobile quarterbacks, but he's pretty mobile.
He is pretty mobile.
He's pretty lethal on his feet, and he's always good for a quick 10 yards on a 3rd and 10 when people are running downfield. I mean, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts. I mean, the list goes on. Josh Allen. Every single year, you know, the draft brings in more and more speedsters at the quarterback position, which is something that's changing in the league.
Yeah.
Sure.
That is true, and Tua is trying to work on that part of his game. I think so last season was about Tua trying to stay healthy, so he put on some weight, and he was able to do that going through 17 games, being able to stay on the field for the Dolphins. And now that he's done that, he's now slimmed down. So we're seeing a leaner Tua. Hopefully he can add some of that mobility to his game, maybe able to take advantage of a 3rd and 4, maybe the defense isn't paying attention to him on that side, and he can get a quick 4 yards for you, pick up that first down. We kind of saw that in the wild card game against the Chiefs. And reporters had a chance to talk to the new lean, mean Tua. Here's what Tua had to say.
Back in March, whenever we saw you at your event, that you were losing weight, but you're losing weight, man.
Yeah.
What are you down to now?
I don't know. Just whatever I'm down to right now.
What was the reason behind it?
I felt like I'd be better. I feel better, quicker on my feet, more nimble, all of that.
What do you feel you can actually gain at that weight?
You know, probably extending plays more this offseason, and then, you know, during the season, training camp, all of that. So, yeah.
What have you picked up from working with John Beck? 2 or 3 things.
Just sort of using my hips, getting my hips more involved with my throwing, and sort of the rubber band theory. If you guys know about that, you know about it. If you don't, you know, I don't want to explain it right now, so I'm not going to explain it. But it's sort of the rubber band theory.
Is this as low as you get weight-wise, or are you still kind of down here?
You'll see during training camp. We'll see. Yeah.
But this isn't that's not something that Tua hasn't done. He's done it in the past. He did it in Alabama. His rookie year, he was a lot more mobile. Not to say he's one of the more mobile quarterbacks in the NFL, but he is more than capable of running and getting these first downs. So having that type of Tua is gonna just open up this offense. You're gonna extend plays. Imagine Tyreek Hill having another 3 seconds to like make someone miss and like go upfield, and Tua making these off-platform throws. It's just gonna open up the offense even more, make us that much more deadly. And it's not only about him just running away. It's creating in the pocket, being a lot more fluid, a lot quicker, and it's just gonna unlock a different level in this offense, man. Maybe even like being able to have some dump offs with our running backs. And you know, if the running backs get the ball, man, they can take it to the house.
Well, that's a great point. I wanted to add on to that. I mean, like, for example, I feel like Jared Goff from the Detroit Lions, he does a real good job utilizing his running backs, especially on third downs. I mean, we had guys like Devon A-Chain, Raheem Mostert. I mean, new rookie running back we just drafted this year, which you know, people have high expectations for. I think we need to utilize that heavily in our offense moving forward.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that was used enough last year.
Right.
And these are guys that if you can get the ball in their hands, they can do anything. They can make plays out of nothing. So the list goes on for the playmakers that we have. But let's get back to the defense and Calais Campbell. So Calais Campbell, a guy that can line up anywhere on the line, very versatile. I think last season he lined up for the Falcons more as an edge. But this year he's going to be going back to what he did for Anthony Weaver on the Ravens, lining up on the interior, or that's at least what's expected of him right now. Maybe we'll see him start out the season on the edge just to make up for that Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb injury. They're still recovering from that. But once they come back, I expect to see him on the interior and really make one of the best looking lines, I think, in the NFL right now, too. I'll probably say our whole team is one of the best teams in the NFL for every single unit we have, except for the offensive line. Maybe the linebackers are lacking a little bit, too. But, you know, the Dolphins really have put together a nice squad. And now let's also talk about Marcus May.
Marcus May. I mean, getting a guy with this much familiarity with the AFC East, because, you know, he was coming back from playing with the Jets and all that. Versatile safety, played both free safety and strong safety. So I think bringing him into this very thin group that we had to start, and we all know Anthony Weaver comes from a defense that they utilize 3 safeties on the field constantly. You know, the Ravens just have a crazy room there.
Right.
But adding him to a room with Jordan Poyer and Javon Holland is, man, it's so valuable. I think it's just going to unlock a different type of defense for us. And, man, I just think this pickup, it's just perfect. It screams Anthony Weaver. He was probably pounding the table for this, and he's like, bro, I need a third safety here.
Yeah.
You look at I mean, you can go ahead and say it, but our safety room was just completely thin.
Well, yeah, it looks like our safety room went from being something that's just one injury away from being a complete catastrophe to now being pretty deep.
Yeah.
With Javon Holland, Jordan Poyer, Marcus May, this is looking like one of the deeper rooms in the NFL. But, Anthony, I'll ask you, like, do you think we're a top 5 safety room in the NFL right now?
Oh, no, definitely. I think we're definitely top 5 at least, if not, you know, bare minimum top 10. I like the addition of Marcus May. He's a nice, versatile veteran to have on the team. I mean, one thing to definitely, you know, keep an eye on is his injury status.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't played a full season since 2020.
Right.
So that's definitely something to take keep an eye on. But overall, considering the money we paid him, it's a no-brainer. You know, we had another veteran to the locker room, and I think if we're not, you know, top 5 at least we're definitely in top 10, and I'll take that all day.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I agree with that. I think right now, I would also have them definitely top 10. You know, closing in on that top 5 spot.
Sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
I agree, 100%.
But yeah, now this secondary in total though, and this is a legit question to ask: do we have the best secondary in the entire NFL? I think that is a legit question to ask.
So yeah, PFF came out with that article, and I think they had Ramsey at number 6 and Kendall Fuller at number 7, right?
Right.
For top,
Kendall Fuller was at number
which
7.
I'm not saying PFF is, king for telling us who the best corners or any position group in the NFL is.
Mm-hmm.
But considering that they had him ranked that way, it shows you what type of player Kendall Fuller is. And basically switching him out for Xavier Howard, a very, I want to say, inconsistent player at this point in his career now.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he's a Dolphins legend, and he should have won Defensive Player of the Year that year. But
Yeah.
switching him out, having Jalen Ramsey, the best corner in the league, in my opinion, these young guys behind them, and Cater Cole, Cam Smith, hopefully we can see him out there. I want to say we do have one of the top cornerback rooms, but I mean, I don't know who else would rank with that. Maybe the Jets.
Yeah, I still like the Dolphins over everyone, honestly. And now we have Jalen Ramsey, who came in last season, missed the beginning portion of the season, but now he's back healthier than ever. And it seems like things are going pretty well with him and Coach Weaver. Now he can be used more as this kind of chess piece, like he said. So I'm excited to see that. We may even see him play a little bit of safety this year too.
That'd be cool.
Which is interesting, something that he hasn't played since his college days at FSU. So that's going to be cool to see. Kendall Fuller, really excited to have him too. I would take him over Xavier Howard at this moment. Xavier Howard, probably the best cornerback in Dolphins history, but he hasn't been that guy in the last 2 seasons for Miami.
Yeah.
So I think it was a good time to move off of him.
Great value signing too. I think we got him for a steal as well.
Right.
I mean, it was about $7 million, I think, that he's counting against the cap. So
Kendall Fuller, Jalen Ramsey, you bring in a guy like Jordan Poyer into the safety room. You already know who Javon Holland is, young and up and coming safety. I would say he's a top 3 guy right now.
Sure.
So
the secondary's stacked. I mean, across the board.
And then you also got Cater Kohu, Nick Needham coming back from injury, and Cam Smith, who's been forgotten. A lot of people forget to mention him, but he was a 2nd-round pick last season, and Vic Fangio just had him in the doghouse for whatever reason. But hopefully, they open the door for him this year, and he can get some playing time. But considering the secondary is so stacked, it's going to be tough for him to get some playing time too. So really, really great room, something I'm super excited to see. But yeah, overall, this defense is looking pretty nice. And towards the end of the season, once Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb come back, it's going to look that much better. As long as they can stay healthy, this is just overall great unit.
I think Jalen Phillips will come back sooner I think he might even be ready for week 1. And it sounds crazy considering the injury that he had, but the other day he was playing 18 holes of golf.
Yeah.
And he just looks like he's fine, 100%. I mean, not to say you're 100% from that alone, but he's doing things that you shouldn't be doing coming off a ruptured Achilles. So if we can start the season with Jalen Phillips healthy, I mean, close to 100%, bro, this defense is going to just eat the whole year.
Yeah, it's a great defense.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Where does this team stack up as far as its complete roster? Where does it stack up for you in the last, actually, since your days of watching Dolphins football? Is this your favorite team, would you say?
Favorite defense? I mean, we've, from back when we first started, we see Jason Taylor every Sunday, Zach Thomas, some of these greats. I mean, if you think back at, you have mentioned Xavier Howard being the best cornerback in Dolphins history. I mean, he might be up there. He's definitely up there. I think he might have definitely led in interceptions, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think I'd be bad to say, but Patrick Surtain, that's one of the first
Sam
guys. Sam Madison. Those were the days, man.
They locked it up for sure.
But I think it's gonna definitely boil down to the scheme. Last year I thought we had one of the best units going into the league. and our corners surprisingly weren't doing. They just weren't doing their job last year.
You're right.
You know, we had suffered from back-to-back years of the Byron Jones syndrome, saying, "Oh yeah, we're blaming our defensive failures on Jones," but I don't know. I would like to see definitely more accountability this year from the coaching staff and the players as well.
Yeah, I agree.
To add on to your point as well, I mean, it's been such a disappointing group, the secondary, just because, man, you have all these years of these guys being injured. Yeah. Exactly what you're saying, Byron Jones. Then last year, unfortunately, Jalen Ramsey to start the year, injury. So, and on top of that, Xavier Howard just can't stay on the field. There's always something wrong with him. Right. And then when he gets on the field, he's inconsistent and he's letting people, eat on him. DeAndre Hopkins just destroyed him in that Tennessee game. If we can have consistency on that, on that part of the defense, man, honestly, with this defensive line at full strength and everything else, now the new linebackers that we brought in, which we'll get into that now, this has to be, talent-wise, one of the best defenses we've ever had.
Right.
And that's saying with a team that had Jason Taylor and Zach Thomas. I mean, those are two names. Now, all that talent doesn't matter as long as you're producing on the field. But if we can stay healthy, if they can buy into Anthony Weaver and actually bringing in a guy like Calais Campbell that has experience with Anthony Weaver, you kind of gain another coach in the huddle.
Okay, I like that perspective.
He's gonna put these guys in the right position. He's gonna say, "Hey, look, I saw this shit. You guys need to step this up." On top of that, the leadership that he brings it's invaluable, and you're only getting that for $2 million. You see all these videos of him hyping people up. He's a dog.
Hey, bring it in tight. Bring it in tighter. Everybody get close. Come on. Hey, do this for the man next to you. Do this for the man next to you. That means a lot. Where we go from here, it's on us. Bring it in. How bad you want it? 1 on 3. 1, 2, 3.
And Christian Wilkins, for as much as I thought his play on the field was fantastic, kind of a goofy guy, he wants to get under your skin, but he's just cracking jokes the whole time. Bro, we want guys that are going to smash you in the mouth.
Yeah.
And that's the type of guy that Calais Campbell is. I think Shaq Barrett's one of those too.
Oh, absolutely. Calais is 6'8", right?
It's crazy.
We got some monsters on that line, and guess what? The guy's 37 years old, but he's still producing.
Yeah, so he's got grown man strength, right? Outside of his age. He is just a massive human being. When I stand next to the guy, I feel small, and that happens not very often at all. But outside of that, his knowledge of the game, so he can take in everything from a pre-snap perspective and use it to his advantage, where a lot of younger players can't. So some of that disruption you see is certainly his talent, but it's also just his FBI and knowing when to take those moves.
So how much do you bounce off of him?
I mean, I think that we played together in the league, so there's not many guys I can say that about. Dwayne Brown, who we're going to play with the Jets, I played with him my first year in Houston, but I have a tremendous amount of respect for Calais. So guys like him, whether it was J.J. Watts I've been around and Kyle Williams, I'm going to let them do their thing. I'm always going to refine and tweak and make sure that everything's right. You're always making sure the car's in alignment and it's going straight, but they have the things that have worked for them, and I'm just trying to make sure I can mold what we do around that.
And you saw his numbers. His numbers weren't too far off from Christian Wilkins. I think the guy's a definite freak. And mind you, he was a freak back in his prime, of course, back in Arizona. But I think he still got a little juice left in the tank, and I think we'll capitalize on that this year.
Yeah, it definitely has some juice and brings that leadership to the team. So that's another great value add. And considering Christian Wilkins got, what was it, $27 million a year?
$27 million.
In comparison to Calais Campbell's deal of $2 million a year, come on. When the production's similar, it's a no-brainer.
Dude, what Chris Greer has been able to do to add on to this team while also losing, I think the only position that we weren't able to, I wouldn't say, well, obviously we didn't upgrade at defensive tackle, but we kind of put a seal on the sinking ship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Adding a guy like Calais Campbell, perfect. I think what Chris Greer has done with the amount of money spent this offseason, all these signings have just been great value signings for very cheap. You know what I'm saying? And that's what led me into that question. Are we are we Super Bowl contenders? Are these guys like coming in on cheap deals because they see potential to win it all with Miami?
Yeah.
Like, would you say that?
Well, definitely. I mean, another thing to keep in mind too is income taxes here in Florida.
Well, yeah,
You
that
know?
of course.
So
Yeah.
guess what? Their money goes a lot further out here as well. But there's no doubt. I mean, Tua definitely showed some flashes last year of being a potential star. We just need to see more consistency from him. Our offensive line is going to be a huge indicator of how well we're going to play this year. There's a lot of question marks in the line, but hopefully with our our new coordinators in line, we should be a much, or at least play with much more unison this year compared to last year.
Now we can shift things over to the offense. A lot of exciting things happening there. We just picked up OBJ on another really good value deal. $3 million a season. I think only 2.1 is the cap is being affected by 2.1 million. The rest is going on to next year's cap. OBJ, great ad, best hands on the team. Still has some juice in him. We saw that in Baltimore last season. With everyone that we've brought in, who would you say is your favorite ad this offseason? And it could be a rookie. Who is it? Who would you say?
Any side of the ball, offense,
Any side
defense?
of the ball, offense, defense. Just
My favorite ad. In a way, it's OBJ. Bro, that's such a hard question because I have so many. Jonnu Smith, super excited to see him. OBJ. I want to see what Jordan Brooks can do on that side of the ball. I think it's a massive upgrade over what Jerome Baker brought last year. Damn, if I had to pick one. I'm gonna say Odell. Just finally having that third guy, that for a fact he's gonna be number 3 on the depth chart at wide receiver.
right.
And last year I think we were both discussing that we thought that Braxton Berrios might have blossomed into that role. As soon as I signed him, I'm like, man, that would be a perfect slot guy. But having OBJ now, it's gonna allow you to have a bunch of different looks. You know what I'm saying? OBJ can either be in the slot, or Tyreek has said in the past he wants to go back to the slot as well on certain plays. So, bro, he's gonna probably be on that X role. He can do that as well. So, I think having him on the team is just gonna open up this offense entirely, and it's just gonna add different looks. Get those hard third downs that we weren't able to do last year. He's gonna, with those sure hands, man, up the middle. Tua's gonna put the ball right on him. He's not gonna bobble it like Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle. And yeah, man, that's my favorite move right now.
How about you, Anthony? Who's
Yeah,
your
I
favorite?
mean, well, listen, I mean, I think we're definitely one of the top offensive juggernauts in the NFL right now. I think, probably the closest teams to us offensively would probably be the Detroit Lions and the Eagles for sure. But I'm definitely excited about Jonnu Smith. I think that's a huge add-on. I think the guy's got 4.5-ish speed. He's a big guy. He normally plays at least 13 games every season, which he's got that durability for sure. Back in 2020, he had 8 touchdowns. I mean, the guy's definitely a magnet in the end zone. I don't think it was given proper opportunity in New England. New England, everybody eats.
Yeah.
I don't think that. I think that took away from him a little bit. In Atlanta was a shit show last year. I mean, I had Kyle Pitts on my fantasy team, which I wasted a 5th round pick on. I shot the bed for him. I mean, I would have won the Super Bowl if I would have picked up any other tight end.
I don't blame you, man. You bought into the hype, man. He's a freak.
But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure. I think he outproduced Kyle Pitts last year, if I'm not mistaken. So I like Jonnu Smith. I can't wait to see Devon A-Chain put together a full season with Raheem Mostert.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be real exciting to see. I mean, once that rushing game really gets going, our passing game is going to blow up.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay, so you went OBJ, you went Jonnu Smith. I think I'm going to take it to the other side of the ball.
Okay, cool.
And I'm
Switch it up.
between Jordan Brooks and Calais Campbell. Man, actually,
It's a hard question.
yeah, I was going to say Kendall Fuller just because I like what that's going to do for Ramsey.
Doesn't that go back to Chris Greer, what I was saying? Like,
Yeah.
look at all these moves. We can't even decide on one.
It's hard to pick what the best move the Dolphins made this
And if I
offseason
told
was.
you that the cap hell that we were in right before we were able to sign these guys, if I told you that we still had $16 million available
It's
in cap
insane.
space, it's it's crazy, man.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
I'm going to go with Calais Campbell, though. That's my
Okay.
favorite pickup of the offseason. He's a guy that brings the leadership presence like we've been talking about all episode. A guy that's still going to be able to produce. You can move him all over the defensive line. He can play inside, play outside, and that's going to help us out with Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips still being out. So I really like the move for Calais Campbell. Definitely stops the ship from sinking with Christian Wilkins being gone.
Yeah,
So
that's the biggest part
I
with
love
that
that.
move, man.
I
And
love
to
that.
get it this late in the game, I thought it was awesome. And to add on to Anthony's pick, Jonnu Smith, it's crazy. Every guy that we have on offense now with the ball in their hands, man, they can each take it to the house.
Playmakers.
And at tight end, for that guy to have that type of breakaway speed too, you saw it last year in Atlanta too. He had a couple that he just took all the way. And on Tennessee, forget it. You already saw. I mean, former guy, he played for FIU as well, so I think it's cool bringing him back into the fold. But yeah, love your pick. I think mine is good as well.
Yeah, I
so
don't think anybody's wrong here,
You just can't
so.
go wrong with any of these picks, and I don't know.
All right,
Chris Greer.
so what did you want to say?
I will tell you though, when I am gonna miss Andrew Van Ginkel this year.
Oh,
yeah, man.
He was one that was high on my list. Favorite players in the Dolphins. So I think we're gonna miss him, but it's all good. We'll see him. We'll see him on the other side.
Yeah.
He's with New England now, right?
No, he's
the
on
Vikings.
the
Vikings.
The Vikings.
You know, that's very, very, very suiting.
That actually
Yeah,
works
that's very
perfect for
He
him.
looks like a Viking.
But yeah, he reunites with Brian Flores, so good luck.
Hey, but it's also, again, to say what you said, it's an easier pill to swallow after we got Chop Robinson, right? And Mo
Yeah.
Kamara in the draft. And I understand they're rookies and all that. Also, Shaq Barrett coming in, veteran
huge.
guy.
That's a
That
huge
was
pickup.
huge. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. That's another pickup that anyone
we
could have
barely
picked. And
spoken of too. But to Anthony's point, though, Andrew Van Ginkel was
Yeah.
a playmaker on defense.
Absolutely.
He was, I believe, we would have to look up the stats, but I think he was the top scorer on defense.
Oh, absolutely.
Since he's been on our team.
Absolutely.
Which it's kind of crazy to even consider. No one talks about like a top scorer on defense, but he was that guy. The guy, he would always be in the end zone somehow.
I don't
like,
understand how.
Off the top of my head, I'm thinking Washington, the Bears. What other games did he score in? Was it the Chargers, I think, against the Chargers he scored too?
It's not just that, even block kicks and special teams.
Special teams.
The guy was a savage, man. He really was.
Yeah, so we're going to miss Andrew Van Ginkel
sure.
definitely, but
For sure.
There's
But
just
yeah.
we can go over so many signings. I think what Chris Greer has managed to do is just beautiful, and it's funny because a lot of Dolphins fans are always going for his head, but this is one of the better GMs in the league. I mean, the best in the league is the Eagles GM, but aside from that, I think we have maybe a top 3 GM, right? What do you say?
Greer's always done pretty well, and
Yeah.
and financially, I know our front office is actually one of the more well put together
Yeah.
financially offices in the league for sure. That's why we always navigate our cap pretty darn well every year.
right, and you have an owner that's willing to spend money too, so
Yeah.
Stephen Ross is no joke.
Bro, and that's another
He
one.
really-
People are always talking shit about him as well, but I think he's one of the best owners in the
Listen,
league.
we've watched the Dolphins. I don't
Yeah.
wanna, excuse my French, but suck for many, many years. All right, I'm talking about since we're 11 years old.
yeah.
I
Bro.
mean, listen, Stephen Ross has been there, through all those painful years since then, and he's still here, and he's still coughing up big bucks to try to get us to the
Yeah,
Super Bowl.
He's committed to winning, man. I know it's obvious it hasn't translated on the field, but he is doing everything in his power to try to make us into one of these top teams, franchises. And I think it's gonna finally pay off. I think this is the year that we actually get a win or two in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm a Ross fan. I really am. Something that happened that was terrible was a lot of people blame him for tampering with Tom Brady, and I think it was Sean Payton. I think
Yeah.
they went on a yacht together and everything, but we end up losing a first round pick, which is terrible.
It's bullshit though.
But every team does this. Every
Yeah.
team does this. We just got caught, which sucks.
Dude, the Falcons just got let off with a slap on their wrists.
Hey, but he
pretty
was
much.
trying to get Tom Brady. Like,
Listen,
come on.
I gave up a first round pick to try to get Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Absolutely.
And this was before we drafted Tua, right? Or was it the year
I
we
don't
had?
know. It might have been the year we had Tua.
Hey, that's not. It wouldn't have been bad. Imagine Tua. Okay, wait,
Tua
but
learning
imagine
from
Tua
Tom Brady.
behind Tom Brady for a year or two.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the type of knowledge he would have gained?
Yeah.
And
I mean, it happened with Mahomes and Alex Smith in Kansas City.
Exactly.
Very
you know?
true.
Look at Jordan Love now.
Jordan Love is another
Behind
good
Aaron
example.
Rodgers.
Absolutely.
I mean-
which, speaking of, that's something to keep an eye on this year. That, you know, we've always been worried about the Bills the last couple of years with the Patriots, but now I think the Jets, that's going to be a team to keep an eye on if he's healthy.
Yeah, the Jets made some moves recently. You have Aaron Rodgers coming off that Achilles tear, which, sucked for him. But they bring in Mike Williams, some other names with other guys with injury history, and they're playing in MetLife. So
Do you really think that Aaron Rodgers is going to come back the same, though? Coming off an Achilles injury at
that's the
40
thing.
years
He's so
old?
old.
40.
Listen, A-Rod's my guy, but I hate the Jets. That's it, man.
Fuck no.
So it's a
I
no
hope
for
he
you.
plays like shit.
He's going to play. Okay, look. I can't guarantee this, but we all saw what happened with Dan Marino when he tore his Achilles.
Yeah.
His career went downhill after that.
Yeah, I think there was.
You can't recover from that. A young guy, yes, like a young guy like Jalen Phillips, physical freak, he's gonna recover. I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers can't, but bro, what stadium is he playing in?
MetLife. They're playing on turf.
Right.
On turf, bro.
That's not ideal for him or any of the guys they picked up.
Absolutely.
You know,
And
so
to Anthony's point, yeah, they made some key improvements too, but I don't see it being enough. I really don't. And it's kind of a shit show over there. Hassan Reddick, saying he's gonna go to camp and all that, just doesn't show up. No one respects Salah. I just don't see. I don't see this as a serious organization. I think the Dolphins have made strides to be that now, and a little scary if they could put it together because they also signed Mike Williams.
Right.
So they're gonna have a pretty cool 1-2 punch at receiver as well. But yeah, man, I think the Dolphins have just done way too much, and we're constantly improving. So
Absolutely.
I don't know.
yeah, and the Bills lost a lot of key players too.
Yeah.
And we don't even really need to go into the Patriots. So with that being said, are the Dolphins the AFC East favorites? What do you think?
I mean, listen, the Bills just lost Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
That's huge. I mean,
Gabe Davis.
I mean, come on, listen. If you look up Josh Allen before he had Stephon Diggs, different quarterback.
Different quarterback.
bro.
Team. I mean, now he's definitely on the hot seat this year. They're going to see how much of his success was attributed to Diggs, or was it truly him? I don't get me wrong. I respect the guy. I like his play. He's got a lot of grit to him, but I don't think he's as good as people think he is.
Right. He turns the ball over a lot.
I've been saying this for years. So
I mean, look, he's the next evolution of what a quarterback is. He's a guy that can run the ball, and he runs you over like, I wouldn't even say like a running back. The guy just steamrolls people. It's
Right.
crazy.
Yeah.
He's a freak of nature in his own right. He's fast. He's strong. Has a cannon arm. What's lacking is the precision passing and the anticipation from Josh Allen.
Well, he's also benefited a lot from having a top-tier defense year after year.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I feel like the Jets may have some kind of chance this year because they also have a very good defense as well.
Yeah.
So
Right.
if A-Rod's able to just put up a couple of touchdowns a game, they're going to go far. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, I think New England is not really much in the conversation anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think so. But we'll see. You never know.
So
Yeah.
you'll take the Dolphins.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we're going to find out probably about like week 8.
Yeah.
Week 8, week 9 is going to tell us a lot about the season, but if I put my money down, I would see the Dolphins for sure.
Okay, I like that.
What do you think?
I mean, the departures from the Bills alone, that's the only team that I think is going to challenge us this year. But Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, Mitch Morse, Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer. I don't think you can overcome that loss. And as good as Josh Allen is right now, exactly what Anthony was saying, we're going to see how much that was attributed to Stephon Diggs. Did he make him into this quarterback? And are we going to see a decline now? You know what I'm saying? We already know that the turnovers are going to stay. He's not going to get rid of that. So now if his play declines as well with those turnovers, I mean,
Yeah, it's not going to look good.
it's not going to look good. And then, going on to the Jets, key improvements, Mike Williams, Morgan Moses, John Simpson, Tyron Smith. The only thing I would say, yes, they improved the line, but Tyron Smith, he's 33. He's missed 37 games over the past 4 seasons. 37 games.
Wow.
So it's kind of like our same deal with Teron Armstead at left tackle. You know, hopefully he stays healthy. But that's what the Jets are banking on too. You're hoping for this guy to stay healthy.
Except they play half of their games.
Yes, exactly.
At MetLife.
On turf at MetLife.
So-
So, dude, you don't want a guy that's coming off injuries or that is injury prone to play for that team on that field because, dude, that any given Sunday, this guy something can happen. You know what I'm saying?
You know, and that's an interesting thing with the whole turf deal. Like, why haven't they banned that in the NFL? I don't understand. Like these owners have almost billions of dollars. Some of them.
Yeah.
Like, why are you guys using turf? I don't understand.
Yeah, before we get into that, I'm just gonna go ahead and say I don't think that's enough for the Jets to, I guess. I feel like everyone's beneath us and they're just looking up, trying to catch up, and I think we're just gonna blow everyone out of the water in the AFC East. So I think we win it and we take it.
I'm going with the Dolphins. I'm going with the Dolphins too. I think this is the year that we take the AFC East. I think we have the best offense in the AFC East. I don't think that's a question.
Yeah.
Our defense is up there with the Jets right now. I think the Bills take a step back. So I think it's a toss-up between us and the Jets, but I think our offense is better, and I think that part is obvious too. So I'm going to go with the Dolphins taking the AFC East. Hopefully they prove me right this year because I've been saying this now for the last 2 seasons. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Dolphins in the AFC East.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we all agree.
We all
AFC
agree.
East. We take it.
Listen, Homer's over here. But honestly, numbers, well, I say numbers don't lie, but numbers
Sometimes.
numbers lie sometimes right now. But honestly, I think this is going to be a good year for the Dolphins. And like I said, earlier, Mike McDaniels, Tua, they're definitely on the hot seat. So if we don't see them put out this year, we probably never will. So let's see.
Oof, that's tough.
Yeah,
that's tough.
It's crazy because if Tua, because his contract's coming up, that's been the biggest talk.
Right.
We're trying to see if we can get this done after Trevor Lawrence just signed on a $55 million average. Jared Goff just signed for $53 million average a year. So it's funny. Tua can technically be on the hot seat, but if we sign him to this deal, I mean, we're kind of. He's going to stick around for the next 5 years, right? At least.
So check this out, right? So top 5 highest paid quarterbacks. Number 1, Joe Burrow, Cincinnati Bengals, $55 million. Okay. Trevor Lawrence, identical contract, $55 million. Right. Jared Goff, Detroit Lions, $53 million, just like Kevin said. We got Justin Herbert from LA, $52.5 million. Lamar Jackson from Baltimore, $52 million. So what do you think Tua is going to land?
Well, I think since Trevor Lawrence was the last one to get a deal done at $55 million, Tua's going to be north of 55 once he gets his contract.
So you think he deserves to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL?
I do, not because I think he's the best quarterback in the NFL. Technically, if we're going to go off of that, I would say it's Patrick Mahomes deserves to be the highest paid quarterback. But it just seems like the way the league is going, it's just next man up. Whose turn is next? And the next guy up is Tua. So it would be, who was the last guy to get a contract? It's Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence got 55 annually. So Tua deserves more than Trevor.
Or the same.
But if I'm Tua, I'm saying, look, get me at 56. We can call it even. We're good. No harm, no foul. Let's get into training camp. All smiles. Everybody can be friends again. And Tua gets 56. And then next season, I don't know who's up. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to have to renegotiate this contract, seeing all these people get Patrick Mahomes isn't even past 50 right now.
He's at what, 45?
I think it's 45, 46, something like that. We'll look it up. But yeah, that's
if I had to put my number on Tua, mind you, I think at the end of the day, the market is the market, right?
The market
I don't
is
care
the
what your
market.
feelings are, right? But having that said, mind you, Joe Burrow comes with a little bit of status behind him.
Yeah.
He did make it to a Super Bowl, which is, hey, that's big time. That's more than we've seen from any quarterback in the past, decade, right?
Yeah.
But if you think about it, looking at Justin Herbert at $52.5 million, Jared Goff at $53 million. I'd probably compare Tua to Jared Goff's situation in Detroit, considering they have one of the best offensive schemes and players, on their side. He'd probably land in my book somewhere around there, 52.5, 53 mil. That's where I see him landing personally.
That's actually a really good point because before the Trevor Lawrence deal, that's where I had him. I had him going slightly above Jared Goff. And if you look at the stats, let's pull them up here. You see that Jared Goff and Tua have pretty similar stats. I would have had him with the within the realm of a Jared Goff deal, but after Trevor Lawrence getting that deal and comparing these stats, then you definitely have to look at Trevor Lawrence and say, okay, Tua deserves more than Trevor.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of like what messed everything up. And the Dolphins, after they saw the Trevor Lawrence deal, were probably like, fuck. Like, we really didn't take advantage of this.
Yeah, but, like, stop taking your time, bro. Get it done, because this is just going to continue to increase. God forbid, let's say we don't sign him coming into this year, and Jordan Love and him both play out of their minds. These guys are going to get 60.
Yeah.
Like, without a doubt. The cap is rising every year. Get this done now. They should have gotten it done before Jared Goff. They should have gotten it done before Trevor Lawrence. It's just going to keep rising, man. And I think Tua's the type of player, you piss him off, you tell him he can't do something, he's going to go out there and be like, all right, I'm going to show you now, because he's done it every single year. Last year, the knock was that he's slow, he's fat, he can't run. Dude, he's going to come into this year, and he's probably going to try to prove that to everyone as well.
Yeah.
While staying healthy, while being able to fall.
He's going to have to be careful with that running, though, because
I understand.
That's a scary thing to see, honestly.
I don't want it, but it can unlock a different level of Tua. And if he does that this year, he's going to be worth way more than what we signed him right now.
Yeah, Tua's looking lean. He's looking mean. This is actually the interview, one of the latest interviews that he's had, and he doesn't look too happy.
Tua, how concerned are you with your contract situation, and have you observed other quarterbacks around the league as they've gotten paid?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not blind to people that, you know, are in my position that are getting paid. Am I concerned about it? I'm not concerned about it, but there's a lot of discussions, you know, that we've had that, you know, we just are trying to move that thing into the right direction where we can both be happy. So
are you
that's what
involved
it
in
is.
it personally? Does your agent update you like every time there are talks?
Well, my agent updates me, but for me, I don't like updates like every time. Like, you don't got to tell me the little things. Just tell me things that matter. Are we getting to where we want to, or are we not? That's it.
Did you think there'd be more progress at this point?
Well, I think there's been a lot of progress at this point. From where we started, there's been a lot of progress. Now, you know, you can ask the other question, then why aren't we seeing, you know, an agreement? Well, that's the tough part about it. That's why it's business. That's why you got one side and the other trying to work to meet in the middle.
Are you confident that you'll get a deal? Does that contract negotiation have to do with your attendance during the first part of offseason program?
I don't know. I don't control any of that. I control if I come or not, but I don't control, you know, how they think about that.
Do you view those numbers that others get around the league as benchmarks for your negotiations, like Jared Goff getting 53 for you?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. The market is the market. If we didn't have a market, then none of that would matter. It'd just be an organizational thing, you know? Didn't matter if that guy got paid that, because it's up to the organization. So that's what I would say. The market is the market. That's it.
Are you confident that a deal will get done before training camp?
I'm confident that a deal would get done. But then again, it's not in my control. You know, it's really up to both sides meeting in the middle with this.
You're a passionate and emotional guy. Is it difficult for you to separate the two things out there?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. For people that talk about business is different than personal, sure. Like, I can agree to some extent. But who you are as a person, for what you do, business and personal, is who you are with how you do everything. That's how I see it. That's just how I look at it. And if not, like, if you can be two different people at once, like, hey, by all means, you can do that. But to me, that's just not how I am.
Are you frustrated where things stand right now?
Not frustrated. I'm another word, but yeah.
Agitated? Annoyed? Bothered?
How about that pause? Just wanting to get something done. That's it. Just wanted to get something done.
What was your reaction to seeing Jalen? Go ahead. Concerned? Is that?
Not concerned. Concerned's not the right word. That's way off from the word.
Antsy maybe?
Probably antsy in a way, yeah.
Pissed off?
I wouldn't say pissed off. I mean, this is the nature of the beast, right? This is how it goes.
So yeah, Tua definitely wasn't too happy, it seems like. But hopefully the Dolphins can get a deal done for
He
him.
wants
Anthony,
to
do you
get
think
paid.
he gets a deal done before training camp?
You know, listen, I compare the quarterback market to the Miami market right now in real estate. I mean, listen.
Wait, and Dr. Mortgage knows a little
Yeah, Dr.
something.
Mortgage
Hey, listen,
over here.
being a mortgage down in Miami, you call me. But nonetheless, I mean, honestly, I mean, quarterbacks are getting paid. Trevor Lawrence just got $55 million. I mean, he's shown just as much as Tua at this point. You know, only thing is he's got prettier long hair.
Whoa.
You know, and a few more inches of height. You know, which everyone loves. But I mean, I think he's got to get paid. I mean, if it's not us, it will be another team next year.
It will.
You know, so I mean, it is what it is. The market is the market. You can't change that.
The market is the market.
Yeah.
What do you think? You think he gets paid before training camp?
I think so. I said it last episode. I think he's gonna get it any day now. I think it's just gonna pop up. It's gonna be a record-breaking deal, but I don't think it's because we have to consider him as the best quarterback in the league that we're paying him this money. It's like Anthony said, the market is the market. The market's only gonna increase. There's a reason why recently they're trying to put a cap on what quarterbacks can make. I don't know if you saw that. It was an
really?
article. Yeah,
That's crazy.
But it's not going to happen. You can't do that to the sport. They're signing all these deals, which is going to continue to elevate the cap, you know, with YouTube and all these other things for these TV deals. But yeah, no, I mean, at this point, I don't think anyone deserves the type of money that they're making at quarterback. But Tua deserves it if you just line up all the players that are getting this money. He does. You know,
I agree.
Yeah, he's gonna. But to answer your question, yes, I think it gets done before training camp.
Yeah, I also think he gets a deal done before training camp. I think the Dolphins need it. You don't want to go into training camp with all that on the field. It's just going to make things weird. You want Tua to be on his A game. We have this crazy roster that's being built, that's being put around him. You got to have Tua with a clear head. Right. And going into the season ready to play ball, not thinking about a contract, you want him feeling good. And Tua's looking good right now. He's looking lean, he's looking mean, he's ready to ball. So let's get a deal done for Tua. Come on, Miami.
Did I see a second sleeve he added on this offseason?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, sleeve game, baby. Sleeve game.
Yeah, I think Tua's right now up to like a half sleeve. We'll see, I guess, towards the regular season, see if he finishes.
Gives you plus 10 throwing power.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, he looks like he's wasting some VC on that. So.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you love to see it. Tua's getting comfortable down here
He's
in
growing
Miami.
out the hair. He's going to come back with probably the cornrows again.
Yeah.
Listen, I caught the Miami effect. I mean, look at this guy's hair. That's it, baby.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, you look good, you play good.
Absolutely.
Right?
It's a style. In Miami, you end up, if you're not with the trends will make sure you're on trend before you know it.
No, for sure, man. Nah, we're gonna see a different beast this year, man. I'm super excited to see Tua.
Yeah, so that's going to wrap it up for this episode. But, guys, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, leave a comment down there so we can get you entered into our giveaway. We'll be announcing the winner on the 21st of July. So make sure to comment as much as possible, get those entries up, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Fins up.